Every Monday from 4 to 7 p.m. on Fire FM 107.7. Call us at 758-572-3473. It's Full Disclosure this Monday and every Monday 4 to 7 p.m. with Foster Chico.
Looking for a new way to enjoy your St. Lucian vacation? Book a tailor-made tour with Seabreeze Adventures. Explore the island's untouched natural beauties as you visit hidden coves and beaches along the coastline with any one of our whole or half-day excursions. We offer a variety of adventure opportunities, including sport fishing, sunset cruises, island adventures, whale and dolphin watching, and water taxi service. To book, contact Captain Warren at telephone number 1758-713-3196. Seabreeze Adventures, not just a tour, but an adventure.
You already know the power of Lex products. Is your solar water heater tank leaking, worn out, or no longer performing efficiently? Upgrade your unit without the cost of a completely new system. Tropical Solar now offers tech upgrades and replacements for existing solar water heating units, including systems from other brands. Keep your existing heating panel and replace the tank with a reliable Tropical Solar tank designed for lasting performance and efficiency. Need a panel replacement too? Call Tropical Solar today for more information. In Castries, 453 4. New solar.
And welcome to another edition of Hardtalk here on Fire 107.7 FM. I am your host Angie, and today, guys, today is going to be a because today's topic is so I'm not even coming in hot today, guys. I am coming in nuclear. That's right. You heard me. Nuclear. And it is going to be you've never heard anything like this. This situation is unprecedented in St. Lucian history. And it's a sitting minister. A sitting minister, one of the men in tights, as we have coined them here on Hard Talk. It has been confirmed by sources close to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force that a current minister is in one of our detention facilities. The charges of information reaching our news desk. has been implicated in a number of criminal activities, things that we have not even heard of before. I was reliably informed that charges are unleashed, that there will be St. Lucians who will get locked. They won't be able to close their mouths. That, I'm telling you. Give me a minute, let me just. If the issue with the audio, it was sticking earlier, but I want to know if the issue with the audio is fixed. So drop me a line on the Facebook or WhatsApp platform. Yeah. So the mic seems to be cutting out. Give me a minute, guys. Let me just fix this because I don't want you guys to miss any of this. So, as I said earlier, oh, goodness, I can't. I don't want you guys to miss a word that comes out of my mouth. Not a word, not a word, not a word. Yes, St. Lucia, for those of you just joining us here today on Hard Talk, we have been informed, and it has been confirmed by sources close to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, that a sitting minister, a current minister in this present cabinet, is currently sitting. My audio keeps, I don't know what's wrong with the audio, guys. Can you hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. All right. So, yes, guys, it has been confirmed, as I was saying. Those on the radio must be hearing me, but those on the live, give me a thumbs up, guys, if you can hear me clearly. It has been confirmed by sources close to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force that a current minister, a sitting minister, let me say it that way, a sitting minister is currently ensconced in one of our detention facilities, people. Now, information reaching me is that this minister is on the hook for a slew of charges, not one charge, not two charges, a slew of charges. And they are wide and varied. This is nothing like we have ever heard in this country before. This minister is currently being investigated by the Royal St. Lucia Police Force and possibly by international police. This has not been confirmed, but we know that the Royal St. Lucia Police Force is involved because this minister is locked up tight in one of our detention facilities. Now, the police are close-lipped about this because they don't want anything, and trust me,
I don't want anything to interfere with this investigation and the prosecution that will most likely follow. I'm saying most likely because you know these guys are slippery. These guys find ways to wiggle out of accepting accountability for their wrongdoing. But I am praying, I am hoping that this individual, because sometimes these individuals believe that because they have fooled so many for so long, that the truth will never catch up to them. This particular minister, his reckoning has been on the way for quite some time. His reckoning has been on the way for quite some time. Now, I'm not going to tell you who the minister is or what ministry he occupies, but I'm going to tell you, some of your Thursday nights, you're going to have to look for another station to listen to, because some Thursday night programs might not come back on the air. I'm just saying. Now we have questions. We have questions. The public deserves to know the full truth. But we also know that certain things, because of the nature of the crime, because of the nature of the judicial process, putting out certain sensitive information can interfere with the course of the investigation. So we're not going to do that here. Like I said, we're not doing anything. Anything that is going to potentially interfere with the carriage of justice. Because this is what we need in this country, guys. Justice. For too long, certain individuals have gone about their merry way, disrespecting our country, flaunting our laws, disrespecting our constitution, spitting on the very people that elected them to office and getting away with it. And today we see no more. When you thought you had heard it all, and guys, let me tell you something. This particular minister is no stranger to litigation, no stranger to accusations, no stranger to allegations. But I'm here to tell you that when you thought you knew all there was to know about these ministers, especially this one, you have heard nothing yet. All of the allegations that are going around about this minister, they're but a tip of the iceberg. Because the things that are coming out of this current investigation, my goodness, I was told by sources close to the investigation that when the full slew of everything comes out, that I was going to be disgusted by what was revealed. evidence against this particular minister is piling up. I'm told documents, videos, voice notes, recorded phone calls, dead to rights. And rumors are circulating that it might not just be our police officers that are investigating. Rumor has it that there might be foreign law enforcement agencies involved. The day of reckoning, guys, is coming. The day of reckoning is coming. For too long, we have sat by idly and allowed people to disrespect, dishonor, and disgrace our country and our House of Parliament. And finally, God has heard our prayers. Finally, justice will be served. And I am predicting, now, this is just a prediction. I am predicting, because where there's smoke, there is fire. I am predicting, guys, that we might just hear, because you know when they start turning over rocks, you know when investigations begin, when people's homes, offices, businesses are being searched, there might be linkages found. So, I am predicting that this is not the first that we are going to hear about. Old people tell you, pi long apli long passe mashla. Ebe moi même kwe. Pi lo sa ni about 15. Ebe 16 mash. I can't even call it breaking news. I can't even play coming in hot, because coming in hot too cold for this. Because it has been confirmed, and this is not hearsay. This is not hearsay. It has been confirmed that this minister is currently sitting in one of the island's detention facilities. Now, it's also been said that this person is flanked by two of their lawyers, I think, friends we can call them. Lawyers, friends, compatriots. I don't know what to call them. But this person, I'm told, is locked up tight. Tight. The police ain't letting that one go. I'm told that there are charges ranging from fraud, embezzlement, sexual assault, and who knows what else the police have gotten information or evidence of against this individual, because the investigation is still ongoing. But I'm being told by my sources that this is an investigation that was happening behind the scenes for quite some time. People, hold on to your hats. Now, I was going to suggest that we ask the Prime Minister to give us a quote, but I already know what the Prime Minister will say. This individual is a grown man or woman. This individual, he didn't hear, he didn't see, he wasn't there, he doesn't know. Now somebody's asking, is this person at custody suites? No. No. They did not put this individual at custody suites. That's how serious this is. This person is at a separate. That person not at custody suites, pal. That person is at another very separate, very clandestine detention facility. Yes, pal. This is serious business we're talking here. We are talking ordinary things. We're not talking ordinary things. We're not talking ordinary charges. I'm telling you guys, this is for real. This is nothing like St. Lucia has ever seen before in its history. Unprecedented. Again, I don't want to say too much because I do not want to taint the case. But from what I am hearing, the individual is being investigated by the RSLPF and possibly other international law enforcement agencies. And also, the individual is currently sitting in a detention facility on the island. The RSLPF has this individual under lock and key. So, guys, we don't know what the final charges are, but we know that the allegations are varied and extremely serious. There is even talk that the complainants, the persons who brought the charges forward, are fearing for their lives and are even in protected custody. I'm telling you, it's hot. It is hot. It is nuclear. When you thought you heard all of what these people are involved in, along comes something like this to blow the lid off everything you thought you knew. So, yes, pal. Yes, pal. I wanted to question the Prime Minister and the Commissioner of Police, but I doubt the Commissioner of Police would say anything at this juncture because, again, sensitive information. Because earlier today there was a police press conference. And I attempted to get some of my media colleagues to ask certain questions, but my colleagues, you see, they were not too eager to address it without concrete evidence. But let me tell you something. Police have that one locked up tight. So I don't know what y'all going to watch tonight, but nobody are helping y'all on TV tonight. I just letting y'all know. I am just letting y'all know. You know, guys, I'm going to give you the facts, the things that they don't want to tell you here on Hard Talk. And honestly, I'm not surprised that this particular minister was involved in shady dealings. I'm not surprised. But the extent of the allegations that I am hearing, you know, sometimes you look at a person and say, well, that person, the way that person going to find themselves in trouble, you know, that person involved in this, that, and the other. But when you actually uncover what the person is really into, you, really? So, yes, pal, as we sit, a current minister is sitting in a Royal Central Police Force detention facility, awaiting, or I should say assisting with a police investigation. I can't tell you that charges have been preferred because that has not been released. But I am hearing that the allegations are extremely serious and all of them criminal. All of them are criminal allegations. And they are extremely serious. Extremely serious. So, those of you who were praying for justice, pray harder, because justice is about to be served. Now, I don't know if you're going to be served hot or cold. I don't know if you're going to be served hot, cold, or 3 days old. But trust and believe, because guys, there is so much that I know that I want to say, but I cannot say it because I really, 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 really do not want to interfere with this investigation. And I don't want to give you evidence that is just allegations or speculatory, and because allegations can be made, reports can be made against people, but when the police investigate and they prefer charges, that's when you know what the person is charged with. But what I can say, police has investigated and they've taken this individual into custody. Now, there are several ways somebody can be charged for a crime. Somebody can be charged by summons, which is what happened in the case of Ernest Hilaire and myself. But if the charges are so serious that a sitting government minister is put in handcuffs and thrown into the calaboose, y'all know these things are dead serious. Dead serious. And we are awaiting word from the hierarchy of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force to let us know exactly what this minister is being charged with. Because the allegations, they're easy. They are not easy. I think while I was being given the list of allegations, if I had opened my eyes any wider, I would not be able to see this afternoon things that I never thought I would ever hear about anyone, any government minister in particular. We don't know. Let's go to the WhatsApp platform Facebook platform, because these people on here, they're very opinionated. Let me hear what they have to say. Somebody says a CIA secret detention. I don't know. Another says AA. Somebody says, was he detained by the RSLPF? Yes, he was. Somebody says AA. Fue. He better not miraculously disappear and take flight somewhere. You know these people already. Well, I don't think if you are in a detention facility that you can easily disappear. This person would have to be granted bail. And I mean, you know, these guys have deep pockets. But if what I'm hearing is true, and the complainants in this case are fearing for their lives, I don't think this person should be granted bail. But that's just me. That is just me. Somebody says it's time the laws of St. Lucia are respected by everyone, and if the Prime Minister keeps his mouth shut, then he should get the hell out of our parliament. Somebody says, I don't trust the RSLPF. We need the French to be involved. Another says, Angie, yourself, how many detention facilities we have? Of course, massive. Give us the district. I ain't giving you no district. Next thing you go and camp out outside the people place just to see if you see the man. No, I'm not telling you. Y'all too serious. Somebody says, does this mean that there will be no Can You Eat My Vomit tonight? Another says, a movie. Somebody says, nothing will happen to him. The Brotherhood will save him. Guys, let me tell you something. I feel the Brotherhood want to save him from that. I think normally the Brotherhood would circle the wagons. With just the preliminary information that I have, I don't think there are wagons to circle. I think the Brotherhood should be packing their bags and leaving him to his own devices. Somebody says, don't give it too much salt before the frogs jump out. Another said, a hungry officer may get bribed with a soft drink and a piece of chicken wing and enable his escape. I doubt. Somebody's calling for Mr. Foster Chico. Another says, we will watch. Someone is missing. LOL. Another says, no need. If help is needed, the UK will take action. Somebody says it was time. Another says, SLPs lie so much. They didn't listen to themselves the one time they spoke the truth. Somebody says PJP's whole cabinet is rotten. Another says, wait, please. Somebody says, was he one of the 10 persons under investigation that Vanguard started right before the elections last year? I don't know. I can't see. Somebody says he will have 11 lawyers. Well, he might as well look for 12 because we don't know. Somebody says, let it come out. We will hear. Another person says the special prosecutor need to start investigating right there. Somebody says, Angie, you're making me laugh. Another one says, but Angie, he has a co-host. I'm told that the co-host is one of the lawyers that are accompanying him. Somebody says, I came in late. What's going on? So for those of you who just joining us, it has been confirmed by sources within the RSLPF that a sitting government minister is currently being held in a detention facility on the island. This individual is being investigated for a number of criminal allegations. And we are awaiting confirmation on what charges are being preferred from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force hierarchy. Somebody says, so I will not get help tonight? LOL. Somebody says, once that minister is charged, the police have to tell the public. Another says, the brotherhood is not stronger than the international community. Another says, it was time that the big child predator got his judgment day. PJP, come to the front of the line. Now, I know a lot of people want to hear from the Prime Minister, but I'm sorry to disappoint you. I really don't think that this is something the Prime Minister will touch, even with a long spoon. The Prime Minister, if I know him well, will not touch this, not even with a Kali. Remember when the former president of the Senate got arrested on charges? That individual got arrested. That individual immediately, the Prime Minister cut ties with this individual immediately. As soon as the charges were announced, the Prime Minister cut ties with this individual immediately. And that was his party member. That was his president of the Senate. What do you think the Prime Minister is going to say or do? Or how do you think he's going to react when a cabinet minister has these kinds of allegations being leveled against him? I see the Prime Minister telling us all he don't know, he don't hear, he's a big man, he didn't know, and calling a by-election in that gentleman's constituency. That's what I see. The Prime Minister is not, like the Prime Minister has always said, he is putting himself first. I don't see the Prime Minister allowing this individual to tarnish the reputation of his cabinet at all. I predict that the Prime Minister will tell this person, I'm sorry, but you're a grown man. Go handle your business on your own and cut ties and run for the hills as fast as possible. Don't forget the Prime Minister's primary goal is to protect the victory. Not protect the voter, not protect the minister, but protect the victory. Ek mama tipudu bagay sa apagade according PS victory adideng. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre will not involve himself with that. I highly doubt it. That person can have everything on the Prime Minister they want to have. If I was the Prime Minister, I would cut ties immediately. Now, I imagine that pressure will be put on local law enforcement to keep this thing silent. But this is St. Lucia. And in St. Lucia, you cannot hide things of this nature. You can try, but you're not going to succeed. So, I'm guessing There's probably an emergency meeting of cabinet happening as we speak behind closed doors. I'm guessing that the Prime Minister is weighing his options, and I am guessing that the Prime Minister is going to call a by-election, cut ties with this minister completely, and call a by-election. Because I'm telling you, if I was the Prime Minister, that is what I would do. Fire this minister from my cabinet so that he can go and work on his defense, and then move on. Call a by-election. Because I wouldn't, as the Prime Minister, allow this person to derail my victory. My victory is already in. I have too many things to worry about. Well, if I was the Prime Minister, I'm saying, if I was the Prime Minister, you have gas prices to worry about. You have hurricane season looming. Wasco can't find water for citizens. Cost of electricity going up. Cost of water going up. You have time to think about government minister that put himself in problems. Not I. I wouldn't do that. If I was the Prime Minister, instant by election, fire you from the cabinet, put Harak Singh in your place, and move on. That's what I would do. But I am not the Prime Minister. I'm simply a talk show host who the Prime Minister has told you doesn't have any answers. So let's see how Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre deals with this situation. Somebody says, Angie, Pierre well wanted to get rid of him. You remember I told you this individual has his middle and index finger in his throat, can't talk. He is like a horse they put a bridle on. Well, I don't know. But if I was the Prime Minister, my advice to the Prime Minister, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Now, whether or not your candidate will win the seat, that's irrelevant. But you are sending a strong message that we're not going to involve ourselves in that kind of thing. If I was the Prime Minister, that's where I would be. Somebody says here, we suck salt. Another one says, gee, independent minister, LOL. Another person says, the French told them they come in for him on Monday. Now, we don't know about that. We don't know anything about the French. We don't know about the English. We don't know about the Dutch, the Spanish. We don't know. What we know is the minister is currently sitting in police custody. Person says, what will PJP say? He's a big man. Well, he is a big man. Somebody says the Prime Minister said he knows who's behind the crime. Look it. Well, who knows? We don't know. Maybe it was Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre that gave the evidence because we knew he had it. But I doubt. I don't think Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre would throw his guy under the bus like that. Somebody says he's a big man. Somebody says yes, so he knows what's going on. But the said person has him by the throat. Well, a lot of people like to see that this individual has the Prime Minister by the throat. But here's the thing. Now we have a chance to see. Now we have a chance to see who has who by the throat. Because guess what? If it is that the Prime Minister does not condone this behavior, then we have a chance to see. Or if it is that the Prime Minister is aware and knows what's going on, because I'm told that during the course of the investigation, it has been found that government funds are involved. Pamadi Makimene involved. Moi just these or it is involved. Allegedly. Allegedly, evidence has been uncovered that government funding might be involved. Allegedly. So, you see me there moving the speck in my eye before I talk about specks in other people's eyes. Allegedly. So, we have a chance. The Prime Minister has a chance to show us if it is that this. Oh, gee, we have a call on the line already. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon to you.
Hello. Hello, caller. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon to you, Angie.
Hi, good
I can hear
afternoon.
you. Good afternoon, Angie. How you doing?
I'm good. Now, caller, I have to warn you, because I expect a lot of calls. And guys, that's for everyone. I expect a lot of calls today for people to come and say all kinds of things. Be very careful what you say and how you say it, because we do not want to preempt anything. We don't want to say anything that will taint the course of justice, and we don't want to make any allegations that we cannot prove for true. So go ahead and make your contribution, caller.
Thanks for that, Angie. And I was just about saying I'll be treading on the side of caution.
Yes, please.
Because we do not want to, first of all, prejudice the investigation. That's
right.
number one.
That's right.
And number two, we do not want to put the radio station in any disrepute for any legal action that could arise if we are irresponsible. So I will be responsible, and I will encourage all the other callers to let us be responsible in what we see. We can talk about the matter, but be mindful that we need to protect Fire FM and we need to protect Hardtalk.
And we need to protect the course of justice,
which is you.
No, the course of justice. We don't want anybody slithering away
that's what I'm saying.
On any technicality. So talk to me, caller.
So I'm treading cautiously. But Angie, if what I'm hearing is true, allegedly, that is damning, eh?
Very damning. Very damning.
That says a lot about the governance of our country. And that says that government officials are basically abusing their authority.
Yeah.
With impunity. If what we're hearing is true, St. Lucia, brace yourself, because this is not just on a local level, this investigation. It has gone past local authority. It has gone past the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. And if the allegations are true, but from what I'm hearing is damning, you're talking about allegedly state funds involved. You think CIP was bad, St. Lucia? This one, if it allegedly, it's worse than CIP, And here we are in serious trouble, Already we're grappling with high cost of living. Already we're grappling with the fact that we have a prime minister who refuses to bring down the price of gas, even if oil on the world market has gone down tremendously.
Yeah, in fact, let me give you some evidence here. A barrel of oil, as of now, earlier today it had gone down to $67.55. It has now gone up to $68.64. So it's still down.
It's still down. Yet still we're paying $16.75 for gas at the pump. Yet still, we're paying more for electricity based on the fuel surcharge. Yet still we're gonna be paying more for water bill. Water rates will go up. And meanwhile, you have allegations of impropriety with state funds. That is worrying. That is frightening, Angie. And yet still you have persons in St. Lucia who cannot afford the basic, who have to be struggling to send their children to school because they just cannot make ends meet. Look, look now. School has been closed. We had the results. So a lot of parents now, and I want to congratulate all the students who were successful at the exam. I want to congratulate them. They worked hard. They deserve it,
Yes, they did.
and I wish them well in their new endeavor, schooling endeavor. But the parents now have to find money for school books. They have to find money for school facility fees, and the list goes on and on. And chances are the salary remains the same. Yet still, you have government officials um, not managing.
Very
I'm being
careful.
very diplomatic.
Very careful,
Yeah,
caller. Very careful.
yeah. But I'm choosing my words very, very carefully. Yet still, government officials cannot account for our monies properly. There's abuse of authority. Angie, those allegations are very damning, and the responsibilities on the authorities, once the information is confirmed, to come out and make a statement. Because at the end of the day, we all pay taxes, whether directly or indirectly. The money belongs to not no government minister or ministers. The money of the state belongs to the people of St. Lucia, the taxpayer. We all pay taxes. And so we just have to wait for the investigation. Let us not preempt too much the investigation. Let us not try to prejudice the investigation because it's ongoing. As you know, it's all investigations. It's ongoing. But I'm just saying to St. Lucia, from what I'm hearing from by all reports, allegedly these allegations are very damning,
Very, very
and
damning.
the image. I'm very concerned too about the image of St. Lucia. If those allegations are true, my main concern is as to the for the image of St. Lucia, because as you know, Angie, our tourism numbers are not looking good. It's looking bleak.
Yeah.
Less people are vacationing in St. Lucia right now. Less people want to vacation in St. Lucia for whatever reason. Because not for whatever reason, we shouldn't. We know we have a hint as to some of the reasons, and
Yeah.
one of the reasons is the crime situation. We saw 3 lives. Well, not three. Is it three? Last weekend, no, 2 murders, 2 homicides confirmed,
Yeah.
and then a young lady got shot. I wish her speedy recovery, a 16-year-old. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. So
Yeah.
I wish her well and I wish her speedy recovery. But the crime situation is not getting any better. National security is in disarray. You have government officials, government ministers not coming out and address the population, the
Yeah.
people, to give them some kind of confidence that look here, these are the measures that we're taking in place to protect you. Look at Joyce and Toma. She was laid to rest last week or week before.
Yeah.
She's a memory right now. Nobody is seemingly not even talking about Joyce and Toma, her murder. She's like sadly a statistic, a number.
Yeah.
The system failed her. And so where do we go from here? Could you imagine this incident happened, Joyce and Thomas murder, and the gender affairs minister did not even have the decency, Angie, and the courtesy that is expected to come out and make a statement? Could you imagine that? This is the country that we live in,
Yeah.
St. Lucia.
This
A
is.
country that government officials seem seemingly to be heartless. They don't care. They seem to not care. And meanwhile, we keep paying them a salary every month, and they're not doing the job that we're paying them for.
Yeah.
That is the situation we have currently in St. Lucia. And then we're hearing those damning allegations involving a certain government minister. St. Lucia, all I can say to you is our country is not heading in the right direction, and we have to pull back. At some point in time, it calls for reflection, it calls for soul searching, it calls for leadership, and we're not getting that leadership. But in the next few days, we'll hear more about this investigation. But all I can say to St. Lucia is, from what I'm hearing, it is serious, it is damning, and I'm hoping that the Prime Minister has the testicular fortitude, if those allegations are true, to do the right thing. In the interest of the country, Mr. Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, if those allegations, those damning allegations are true, do the right thing to protect the image of St. Lucia. Have
Thank
a
you for
blessed
that.
day, Angie.
Thank you for that, caller. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Hi, good afternoon, Angie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, thank you. Good afternoon to your viewers, listeners.
Yeah.
Angie, I suppose the hot topic of the day is that there's a certain government minister, actually, Honorable Richard Frederick.
Oh my goodness,
who's been-
caller, do not. We didn't mention names, caller. We
Well,
didn't
I
mention names.
his name. I got his name. Honorable Richard Frederick has been detained by the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I don't know for what reasons, but I know it's him. So I don't know what the
I was being
suspicion
very,
is.
I was being very diplomatic and not mentioning names, caller. But now you
No.
you just let the cat out of the bag.
Let me mention my name. I'm Jimmy Haynes, and I'm not being diplomatic. I'm a supporter, member of the United Workers' Party, and I'm speaking as a supporter of the United Workers' Party. Because if it had been the other way around,
Yeah.
and the United Workers' Party was in government, and one of their ministers had been arrested or detained under similar circumstances, there would be no tribute there
That's
to
true.
release or disclose
You're
or reveal.
you're correct.
the
You're
name.
correct. But I didn't want to
And I'm
reveal
not
the
going
name.
to make any allegations about what he is supposedly have been done or not done or whatever
Yeah.
until we get official confirmation.
Yeah.
Because he may be released without any charge, we don't know, but he's been detained.
Yeah.
But I know that's the sizzle, on the steak of the steak. But I want to talk about the steak because I understand that during the elections, right before the elections, almost $110 million
Right.
was transferred from the CIP funds.
To the SSDF.
Well, it says to equity and to infrastructure. So equity, I take it to mean SSDF about 50 something million, and infrastructure about 50 million, almost half,
Right.
which adds up to around $110 million.
Right.
So for the time being, I want to focus on the SSDF. And when I look at the SSDF, if 50 something million dollars went into the SSDF, wouldn't the government have to tell us why that money went into the SSDF? To do what? Is it to pay outstanding bills? Is it to pay staff, like salaries, wages, and salaries? Is it to do specific projects? For example, road projects, infrastructure projects, social programs where they give people money, vouchers, what have you? Because the Social Development Fund, the St. Lucia Social Development Fund, the SSDF, is a statutory body, a government-owned organization where monies are pulled from various sources, like from the government of Canada in one of the aid programs, from the European Union, from the Caribbean Development Bank in the form of what they call these projects. It slipped my mind. But BNTF, Basic Needs Trust Fund.
Right. Now, caller, you are jumping into a territory here that is very scary because now you're jumping into grant funding. Now you're jumping into international entities. You mention global entities here. You're making me feel like it's Interpol that going to be. Anyway, let me let you make your point. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Absolutely. What I want your listeners to understand is that sapa antibagay savan. Because it has international repercussions.
Yeah.
Because there is a side of this that we're not hearing. Because I saw some posts on social media asking about the SSDF.
I did see that, but I didn't understand exactly what was being. You see something and you see it in the back of your mind, but it doesn't quite register.
Right.
Yeah.
So my thing is, during the elections, there were many allegations of candidates of the Labour Party and supporters and officials of the Labour Party and the operatives of the Labour Party having SSDF checks
Yes.
in their possession.
And not just checks, caller. We were told that they had vouchers. And we were told that it was candidates, not confirmed ministers, but candidates that were handing out checks, which is unprecedented in St. Lucia's history. Because when I started investigating, somebody said, but wait a minute, aren't the government vouchers there to provide to people for, in case of an emergency, in case of a hurricane or something?
Well, as far as I understand it, candidates were given vouchers to use as an incentive to curry political favors, to buy votes, in other words.
Wow.
Yeah. It was these were all the kind of incentives that were placed on the ground. Right. Now, of course, there will be denials, as one is asked when you make allegations to provide proof and evidence.
Right.
And I don't think, as example, that anybody has brought forward a check or a situation which is recorded or, where it shows, very clearly that an attempt was made or was made to buy a vote using vouchers or a check from SSDF.
Right.
But I've been doing a little bit of investigation on SSDF. I have worked with the SSDF. I was a contractor once, and the SSDF didn't finish paying me. So I have a little beef with the SSDF, so I'm not unbiased. Although the people who were at the SSDF when they did not pay me, they are no longer there in the name of Joachim Henry.
Okay.
He was the executive director at the time.
Okay.
That was before he got into politics.
Right.
But I have no beef against Joachim Henry.
Your beef is with the SSDF.
Is the manner that the SSDF is being run.
Ah, okay.
The SSDF is supposed to, like any statutory organization or any reasonable organization of some standard, is supposed to have its accounts audited.
Right.
By an independent audit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And suppose in the case of the SSDF to be done every year.
But then remember the Prime Minister said that we don't have any qualified auditors. Remember he said that in the case of the CIP.
Well, that's his excuse. That's not true. There's Grant Thornton, there's all those places around.
Right.
And you can bring in an international agency.
Right.
The Prime Minister got talked to him every papi show as if everybody is stupid.
Yeah.
And he pretends that the level of intellect in St. Lucia is at the one that he pretends that he has.
Yeah.
He pretends like he's stupid, when we all know he's not stupid.
Yeah.
He's playing smart but not being clever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to be provide an audit every year. But unlike some of the statutory bodies like the National Lotteries Association, like the CIP, etc., the St. Lucia Tourism Authority, etc., these organizations are supposed to table, their accounts are supposed to be tabled by the line minister in the House of Parliament once a year. However, the SSDF, the legislation that brings into act the SSDF doesn't require to table its accounts in the House of Parliament. But it does require to present through the Finance Act its accounts to the Auditor General. And the Auditor General is supposed to, through the Minister of Finance, table the accounts of organizations such as the SSDF.
Right.
Do you know, Angie, that it's been more than 4 years that the SSDF has not tabled its, maybe more, but more than 4 years that the SSDF has not presented audited accounts?
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Now, this means there is a pattern in the Labour Party, administration, let me qualify that. There is a pattern in the Philip J. Pierre administration, where organizations are breaking the law every year. Like the CIP, the delays in tabling its audited accounts,
Right.
And when it tables the audited accounts, it conveniently escapes certain information, which causes the auditors to qualify the audit to say that certain things were not present that were supposed to be present for them to have been completed their assessment, right?
Yes. And we saw
So,
this happening with the CIP just recently.
right. Why is the SSDF? Why hasn't it tabled its accounts? If it is being used as the ATM of the Philip J. administration, whereby people can just be handing out checks to people without accountability, right? Where ministers and political operatives are carrying checks with a blank, just signed.
Wow.
And where is the executive director? A man from Canries, a man called John Victorin.
Yeah.
He's the executive director. And Mr. Springer, the chairman. And Mr. Imran Williams, who is the director of finance in the Ministry of Finance. He happens to be also the vice chairman of the SSDF, right? He is also the chairman of the National Economic Development Fund, because the leader of the opposition in the House has asked the government, where is the $110 million? What happened to it? How was it spent? That went into, purportedly into the SSDF. He wrote a letter in May to Mr. Imran Williams, the Director of Finance in the Ministry of Finance, who has not yet responded to him. And now we have more allegations that was CIP money in the SSDF. Now SSDF checks are being handed out to people by ministers and people who are not authorized.
Wow.
And, right? And what I'm saying to you, Andre, I will be presenting you with hardcore evidence, copies of those checks.
Wow.
For Lucia to see. Because we have to stem this corruption that's happening in this country.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And there are some people who are determined not to get into government, but to see to it that the monies, the resources of the country of St. Lucia is safeguarded.
Yeah.
Because we can't have people in corruption, in maladministration, in mismanagement, taking the people's money to buy the people, to continue to vote for them or not vote for them, not come to vote, so that they can remain in office, protect the victory, and when the people at the same time, a little $1,000 they give them to vote, or the little $500 that they gave them to vote, but in some cases $16,000 that they gave them to vote.
Whoa.
I have a check written on a certain minister's account before the elections for $16,400 and a candidate from Soufrière.
Wow.
To a UWP family to stop them from voting.
Wow.
So this corruption has to end. If you are going to pay people to vote, which is illegal as it is, pay them from your pocket.
That's right.
Don't pay them from the resources of the government of St. Lucia.
Yeah.
The people of St. Lucia. So that means if you don't support the government, if there was 50 cents out of every dollar that belonged to UWP people, St. Lucians, so 50 cents to Labour people, I'm just putting it that simply. They're taking the UWP 50 cents because you know once they in power, UWP people will never get anything from them.
Right.
Never will qualify for anything from them. Unless they're trying to buy you. And so you take all the money and now you're giving it out in checks. I have run organizations and I have never seen such brazen. I don't know what to call it. There is not a word in the Oxford Dictionary, nor in the St. Lucian Lexicon.
Corruption, caller. Corruption. You're allowed to say corruption because
corruption is too high.
Corruption might be too mild a
and
word.
There's a story that your people will hear by tomorrow, or maybe tonight, maybe somebody will come and leak it, or by the day after.
Yeah.
It's lower than corruption. It's sordid.
Yeah.
It is nasty.
Yeah.
It is demonic.
Wow.
What these guys are engaging in. And we call it governance in this country. And our Prime Minister, he's the minister. He's the minister responsible for the SSDF.
Yes. As the minister.
He's the line minister.
Yep.
He's also the minister of our finance. So every dollar that goes around in the government circles, he's responsible for it.
Yep. Yep.
And he will come and tell you, I saw I call him apologists. I saw an apologist, an educated one, who might even be a lecturer, in your chat, the live chat, saying, he's an independent, and he's an independent, like they can drop him. He ain't independent. When you're saying 16-1, Kiminako is an independent.
Yeah.
The Labour Party and its cohorts was celebrating they beat the United Workers' Party 16-1.
Yes.
I'm a United Workers' Party supporter, member. I agree, not a 16-1. That means in the 16, Richard Frederick and Stevenson King are there, as independent.
Yep.
Right? So how today, now that Richard Frederick has been detained, you're now saying he's independent. You all said 16-1.
That's true.
Labour beat UWP 16-1. So how could he be independent? So it must have been 15-2. So if the next person they arrest is another member of the Labour Party, say for example the Prime Minister himself, so soon you will say, he's not a member too.
It seems
this
so.
Sort of hypocrisy. And the Labour people believe that they're so intelligent, they're so smart, they can turn water into wine. Because they can spin things. And that the people of St. Lucia will continue to listen. I'm telling them today, tooth called me a boot. And the boot has arrived. And one by one, they're going down. Not because we wish them bad, because they have done ill to the people of St. Lucia. There's a God in this world that is in control. A God of this universe who hung the stars in the air. That what they have been doing is wrong and they now have to pay for it.
That's right.
So they're catching them all different ways. Rape, whatever. Because of what the injustices they perpetrated over the people of St. Lucia and the way how they used the resources of the people of St. Lucia for their own selfish gains, while at the same time they made the people of St. Lucia think ill of the opposition. They castigated them. They used racism, tallism, shortism, dwarfism, all kinds of isms.
All kinds of isms. Caller, you know what really irks me about this, caller? I understand wanting to win your seat. Like you yourself have said on this program, the purpose of a political party is to win a seat. But when you tell me that you have put the people of St. Lucia in jeopardy, and let me qualify my statement, because when we have a situation where government funds are needed for our hospital, we need beds, we need medications, we need nurses and doctors and all of that, and all of that money could have been gotten from the CIP funds. Okay?
CIP funds, right.
When you tell me that this money disappeared into the SSDF, it just disappeared. We don't know what happened to it. And now we're hearing of these allegations. I mean, it just makes me so angry. Because that money could have gone to even, they said that they made over $200 million in the CIP. That money could have gone to, what they say they're missing to do for St. Jude's to what's the word they use? The Prime Minister used the words. Help me out. Commission, right. That money could have gone to commission St. Jude's. That money could have gone to fixing some school plant for our children. Look how well our children are doing in the regional exams. That money could have gone to helping bolster our national security. And you're telling me it was used simply for personal gain, because that's what these people are doing, personal gain. And you know what? If I ever find myself in a situation where I have the wherewithal to advise the government, the first thing I will tell them to do is to implement this Proceeds of Crime Act and implement it in a way that when ministers are found to have used illicit means to win their seat, that every salary they've collected from the people of St. Lucia be qualified as proceeds of crime and confiscated and given back to the people. May your pie place, sir.
I hope that as this story unfolds, as it unravels, that it will become clear to the apologists, to those who see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil, that sabu zawa yo kai piti, that kuku gwenzi yo kai washi, that romeo kai sispon, that they will have to speak the truth. They will have to hear the truth, and they will have to see the truth. Because we have to arrest this corruption in this country.
We do.
And I don't care who's involved, where the guillotine falls, let it be. Let it be.
As long as you are guilty, pay for your crime.
Members of the United Workers' Party administration who have been involved in corruption, them too. Because we can't have millions. Look, I heard the Prime Minister after the election lament that he needs $50 million to complete the commissioning of St. Jude.
And $110 million just disappeared, just like that.
Right. This year so far, he has borrowed $900+ million. $900+ million in the year is only 6 months. We go into the 7th month, 2 days into the 7th. We've had 41 or 40 murders, homicides.
Yeah.
We don't have sufficient cameras. We have certain spots like in Marshall where we have had maybe 12 or 13 murders in the since 2021.
15, caller. 15. We were checking it the last time.
Thank you. And some of them happened in the same area, and we still don't have cameras there.
Yeah.
Could those monies have been used to commission St. Jude's for St. Lucia, especially the people of the South?
That's
the people
exactly,
of Beaufort.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
North, the people of Miku, the people of Labrie, the people of Susan, the people who are calling 16-1 who are jumping up and Martin and Fair there, your fair lamb. Right? And so I'm hoping that those people now, they put aside their tribal politics, red and yellow.
And stand for country.
Open our eyes to our St. Lucia politics.
Right.
Because our St. Lucia politics is our pocket.
Yeah.
Because every day of the year, every penny we spend, we are paying taxes.
That is so true.
Every day of the year, directly or indirectly, we are paying taxes. We are earning money and we are paying taxes, far less when we spend money.
Right.
So, taxes, you see.
That's true.
There's income tax, you get inheritance tax, property tax. If you're spending, there's VAT, there's customs and excise.
There's 2.5% health and security levy.
Health and security levy. Look, the government now putting on Lucilec $1 for every gallon of fuel that Lucilec uses.
Oh my God.
Who do you think is going to pay that dollar?
We are. We the people.
The people. And therefore, it is about time. I want St. Lucians to be very, very vigilant and to please watch what's happening in this case.
Yeah.
Put away your colors. If you're UWP, everybody's gone. Everybody's gone. If you're UWP, you're probably jubilant. You're happy. Don't be. Don't be. It will prevent you from seeing the reality and the truth. So when you speak, You need to be speaking truth and facts.
Yeah.
Not, oh, your point. And if you're a Labour Party person, don't try looking for excuses for your party or for the individual. Because when the individual was eating out your cocoa boenzi, when these individuals were giving out your monies to people to vote for them using your monies, they were not thinking of you.
That's
They
true.
were thinking how they can use you.
That's true. That's right.
So now, look at the truth. Watch it. I'm not telling you to take my word for it. Watch this story as it unfolds, because this is the opportunity, this is the turning point for St. Lucia. Governance and politics. This is the point where we need to ask ourselves as a nation, is this enough?
Mm-hmm.
What is the Prime Minister going to do now?
I
suspect
the Prime Minister, Jimmy, I suspect the Prime Minister is going to wash his hands of the situation, similar to what happened when the President of the Senate got arrested. He immediately just threw him under the bus. So,
well, there's two differences in the President of the Senate. I've heard this before.
Yeah.
The President of the Senate was not a sitting member of the House.
That's true.
Okay? The President of the Senate had been appointed by the Prime Minister or by the Governor General through the recommendation of the Prime Minister.
Right.
In this case, the minister who is now being detained was elected by the people of Central Castries.
Yeah.
So the Prime Minister can relieve him of his ministerial duties, which I expect to happen.
Yeah.
Which would be normal, or ask him to relieve himself, to resign. Mm-hmm. But the Prime Minister cannot remove him as the parliamentary representative for the people of Central Castries.
Maybe not, but I suspect the Prime Minister is going to call a by-election in that area there.
So, whatever the Prime Minister does, I'm not going to forecast. I'm not going to, I'm not going to be gade. Mm-hmm. I'm going to wait and see.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait to see what the Prime Minister is going to do, because it's not what the Prime Minister does with Richard Frederick. It's what the Prime Minister does with himself. Mm-hmm. Does he? I want the Prime Minister to commission a forensic audit of the SSDF. I want him to change the board of the SSDF. I want him to have the Director of Finance investigated, because he represents the Prime Minister's office, the Ministry of Finance.
Yeah.
And for these things that have happened under his watch, allegedly.
Very damning. Very, very damning.
And for him, Imran Williams, and I'm calling out his name, in two photographs that I have, you're seen with Ernest Hille campaigning in your red Labour shirt.
Wow.
Which is against the law that Yon said. He said it was against the law for Elisha.
Yes.
No,
yes.
He had to resign.
Yeah.
That he couldn't engage in any campaign or couldn't be a candidate or anything. Yet at the same time, as Director of Finance, you were involved in the campaign. And now alleged monies, millions of dollars from the CIP into the National Economic Fund that you are the chairman of. And into the SSDF that you are the vice chairman of.
Have disappeared
under the Ministry of Finance that you are the Director of Finance.
Right.
Your position is protected in the Constitution of St. Lucia and in the Finance Act. We need to have this man to sit there and to answer questions. And we want the Prime Minister to do so as the Minister of Finance. Otherwise, as the line minister for the SSDF and as the Minister of Finance, the Prime Minister himself should resign before he asks Richard Frederick to do so.
That's true.
And with that, I would like to end my contribution.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for this insight, Jimmy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. Guys, didn't I tell you that this thing, there was more to it than meets the eye? Didn't I tell you that this was very, very damning? Now, there are things here that Jimmy said that I didn't even know. And I was told that this is very, very damning. Somebody says, Angie, I'm all in the UK and I get the news already. St. Lucia is too small. My God. Somebody says, well said, Mr. Haynes. Another says, remember you balled us? What did Alan Shastney do? He fired him. Somebody says, bravo, Flubbos, walk with our heads high. Another says, wow, somebody says, if it is Richard Frederick, I think he is the fall guy, meaning that he will take the blame for some to most of the corruption. Well, it is Richard Frederick. I knew that. I just did not want to. I wanted to err on the side of caution and not mention the name, but I've been put in a position where I have to tell the truth. It has been confirmed. It's not hearsay. It was confirmed by sources close to the investigation. I didn't feel comfortable mentioning the name, but Jimmy has done it, so, well, it's already out there. So, yes, guys. And this is worse than we thought. This is government funding, grant funding. This puts the image, like a previous caller said, the image of St. Lucia at a huge disadvantage at a time when we are already suffering so much damage to our international image by the CIP. Along comes this very damning situation. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon to you, Miss Angie.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hope everyone's doing well today.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh,
The one in the captain's chair.
Let me tell you, this morning I woke up to this news, and I tried to confirm it, but all in a sense of disbelief. And then I got the confirmation, and then now we're hearing from someone who has kept his ear very close to the ground where this situation is concerned, and giving us all of this insight and letting us know that this is way worse than I thought initially. Way worse. Way worse.
Yeah.
It's surreal. It is surreal.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said it is surreal. I never thought I would hear that kind of thing.
Well, me, personally, for one, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
For two, I really, and two is going to pretty much enforce my reason for not being surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because there is a lot that we do not know.
Yeah.
It's like the iceberg. We always get just the tip of it. You know, but I really want to thank this young man, the last caller, for calling and giving us such information or insight, if I should say. And if I know he's very busy, but if he could call even more often, I think it's going to make all of us better because we'll get more information. I think, and I say that because I think he's better placed to get or access information than most of us are. I really thank you for this contribution. But once beyond that situation, and I've been calling for the resignation of the COP, I think it's necessary. But I want to take a moment to thank the police, because it still shows that there are some who are willing to stand up, some who are willing to do the job, in spite of what we are faced with in this country. My concern is what's going to come next. How is this going to be handled? Because, as we all know, our justice system is not a system, a justice system as we know it. So I'm concerned about what's going to happen next. I wish if this thing would see it, would be able to see the light of day, in a normal process as it should. Because I don't think an officer would arrest somebody under no circumstances.
Yeah.
Or, so I wish if the justice system would do what it's supposed to do in this case, then things will unfold in the way that it's supposed to go, and we will not have ministers going to the courthouse to see justice, to see that the justice system works and that kind of thing. And the Prime Minister, he knows we all are eyeballing him right now because we want to know what he's going to do, because this particular person is a part of his cabinet. Yeah. So he knows we are watching. as the gentleman says, this guy, he likes to take us for a fool, telling us things that he knows we know that is not true.
Yeah.
And he gets away with it. And then he turns around and he even ridicules the same people asking him the little questions. And he knows they don't know, they're not experienced or whatever. So he takes the advantage. I think all this thing has to come to an end. I'm happy that an opportunity presents itself so that we could start to act against this injustice.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully, this should be the beginning of the end of these things that we have been calling and speaking up against. And those who are positioned will start to do what they were positioned to do. Because the last time I called and I was saying that I was not convinced that this administration actually won an election fair and square, I was told as well. When I was told I was stand like an adult, sorry.
And now we're getting, and now according to the previous caller, there is actual evidence, because this caller is saying, I have the checks and I will make them available to the public. So we have the evidence that this election was bought. And I've been telling you guys from day one, I've been telling you guys from the day after the election, that something was rotten in Denmark.
I remember speaking to you and you were saying that the atmosphere is just that of which some guilty people are waiting to hear. Hey,
yeah.
I remember having that conversation with you.
Yes.
You know, so even when they released the report, the official reports on the official audit, sorry, the leader of the opposition said there are a lot of things wrong with that. And when the Prime Minister, in the House, the Prime Minister said he reviewed the documents, and the Prime Minister confessed that he transferred $120 million to the SSDF and stuff like that. And he confessed that he got to find out that some people were even paid not to vote. And the previous caller just said it.
Yeah.
So those they could not convince, take them to vote in their favor. They could try to convince them to vote.
To stay away from the polls.
To stay away from voting, yes.
Yeah.
So they did. They played every number that they could have played. And I mean, I'm not like on the ground like a lot of people are, but the little that I hear, I get them from reputable sources, if I should say.
Yeah.
They're not official people to say like they're registered or well-known journalists or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, when you know somebody is somebody personally, you know what kind of information that they will feed you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, I was trying not to give too much information because I wanted to protect my source, because I got this from a source investigation and I did not want. Yeah, but there you have it. And as we speak, I'm getting information that this has already made rounds internationally, because it has already been published with his picture. And I'm gonna read what I see here. It was just sent to me by somebody in the UK. Somebody in the UK just sent me an article, and I'm gonna read it out. So, but I'll let you make your contribution first.
Okay. I mean, I saw one on earlier, but it had no face. Now I'm seeing another one.
This one has a face?
I just clicked on Facebook, and it says Solution Minister Richard Frederick arrested by International Law Enforcement Task Force.
That's the one.
Whether an issue or not.
That it is. He has been arrested. He is currently detained. He is sitting in a detention facility as we speak. He is there. It has been confirmed. Yeah. It has been confirmed since morning. It has been confirmed.
I mean, I joined Facebook. I'm sorry, not Facebook. Newsspin late, and I saw somebody said that they heard about that, and I came to respond by saying you would never see that happen given the system as we know it.
Well,
I said, you know what? Maybe I should not give that attention just yet. Let's wait and see. And tuning in. It's true. Even if I tune in late on your program as well, But there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Whoop,
So,
there it is. Right there,
yep.
out in the open. Yeah, but thank you for your contribution,
Well,
caller.
you're welcome.
Yeah. So guys, as the caller said, I just received a post from somebody in the UK. It reads, St. Lucia Minister Richard Frederick arrested by International Law Enforcement Task Force. And it says, it has his picture, and it says, Richard Frederick, the controversial St. Lucia criminal defense attorney and politician who is presently Minister with responsibility for housing and local government, was reportedly arrested in St. Lucia by an international law enforcement task force. Frederick, whose career has been rocked repeatedly by scandal. Oh my God. Caller, you couldn't let me finish read the article?
Yes, my love, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Where was I? Oh, yes. Frederick, who is presently Minister with responsibility for housing and local government, was reportedly arrested in St. Lucia by an international law enforcement task force. Frederick, whose career has been rocked repeatedly by scandal and whose U.S. visa on his diplomatic passport was revoked more than a decade ago, has long been linked to narcotics trafficking as well as being a relationship with American law enforcement or intelligent forces. As soon as more details are available, we shall update our readers accordingly. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie. How you doing, my love?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know how I feel right now, caller. Honestly, it's just surreal what I'm seeing here.
Well, it's not surreal to me. And I am going to go back from day one when my God took me out of where I think was my comfort zone. He cleaned me, he washed me, and he sent me to advocate for my country. I will never forget the day he gave me the revelation. And I didn't know what I had a fear inside of me, and I had to do what he asked me to do. And I picked up that phone and I called that radio station with a heavy heart. And I remembered I said it one-on-one. What he told me to say, I said it.
Mm-hmm.
And the day after, the Labour Party supporters took me, they dragged me, they said what they couldn't say. But I tell them, all the strength I have in me is not mine. God was the one who instilled it in me to do what I am doing there today.
Mm-hmm.
And I give God all the glory, all the praises. I used to hear people saying, we're waiting on God, we're waiting on God. God, you have to go and fight. That's why sometimes I used to tell you, just stay still.
Mm-hmm.
There are some battles that we human beings cannot fight. We need God's intervention to fight it. And I give him God all the glory today for my country, St. Lucia. Because I saw what he showed me. And I know what he showed me in my heart. I know it, and up to a day like today, that's not all I'm going to be coming out.
Let me tell you, Gola.
More will be. I cannot even sit down and finish reveal what he showed me.
Mm-hmm.
More will be coming out. It's not a political thing anymore. God have been testing the soul of this nation. The wickedness, the lies, the deceit, how far we can go without we as a nation standing up and saying enough is enough. And today, I am seeing it unfolding, and I give God the glory. I give him the thanks. I give him the praises. And I used to ask him to let me live to see the day he will show us what he showed me. It's a bittersweet moment for my country.
I mean, caller, it is. We know that there was corruption in the last election. We know all of that, but to know that this thing goes so deep.
It's deeper than the people, the uneducated, foolish, wicked people in the heart we have in St. Lucia. I keep telling them all over my social media posts, what is happening in St. Lucia is bigger than you all. You all need to start educating yourselves. It is bigger than you all. And you all will understand. A lot of them know. There are a lot of them that know. Especially those that are on the boards, those that are holding the position to silence the people so that they will not agitate. Their conscience have to be tested too. The wickedness to our nation, causing our young people to lose their lives uselessly when they know what Alan Shastney started doing for the country and its people was beneficial to the future of St. Lucia. They all knew that. That is why when Richard Frederick came on his show once and he said, if you don't use my hands, you will not see the likes of governing this country again. Use my hands. All of them know what was happening. All of them. That's why I kept on telling you all the bribe. I will not be there to help you all. Do not take the bribe from day one when I was calling Sky FM with Champagne. And Champagne is one that let that country down. Because he put himself there when I explained it to him. You know what I'm telling you?
Yep.
And I am not putting nobody before my country. I don't see the person yet that will make me do that. I love my country. I will die for my country. I love the people of my country. You see, when the Labour Party come in and they throw stones at me, I never insult them. When they do it, I say, Lord, help them see what you're showing me.
But Caller, recently you were one of those that this particular minister, this self-same minister, came after on his show.
Twice. Let me tell you, my love. The first time he did it, I told him I am going to be one of the last female he will attack in that country. Because I did not come alone. I told him so. I did not come alone. I didn't come there on my own. I didn't come there for politics. I didn't come there for money. I didn't come there for any glug or anything like that. I came on behalf. My God used me because he couldn't do it by himself. He used me to talk his word, what he wanted people to know. He used me to do it. You know, you remember he called me crazy? He had me crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
He did.
No, my boy. You need to know. And St. Lucians need to know. Anybody who speaks the truth, society will align them as being crazy. When you speak the truth. It happened with Christ when he walked this earth.
Yeah.
When he spoke his truth, they called him crazy. And I understood all these things. I never got agitated. I kept my calm. And I am calling on the concerned citizens of this country, especially the supporters of the United Workers' Party, to stand firm. Take your country back. Put your country in the hands of men and women that will navigate the affairs of our country. The future of this country, where our people can live at peace, live in one, live in unity, live in God's love. You all have a leader. God, I keep telling you all, Alan Shastney didn't just come there. God shaped him from his mother's womb. If you listen to his stories where he said when the mother was having her children and how many of them didn't make it, he was the one God chose to send his mother through Matnik and gave birth to him, and he survived for a reason.
Yeah.
And God equipped him for that reason. And that is the only person apart from Sir John. And I keep saying that. My heart is heavy when I say that. I saw in politics that he's ready to take St. Lucia to another level. He doesn't want the country money. He have already. God bless him with that. And that is why, because he loved the people of the country, he used his own resources that God gave him. You think God wasn't testing him to see if he was going to use his resources to challenge his people?
Yeah.
Because his resources were not his. God gave it to him for this era. And he did exactly what God was expecting him to do with it. He didn't shy away. He didn't say, I'm not going to use my money like these fellas we have in politics. They're hiding, they're watching every dollar. They don't want to use it to help the people. No, he did what he was supposed to do. And that's why I said, Alan, you don't even know what you in there. What you in there, it's bigger than you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
And I am calling again on St. Lucians to take charge of your country. Take your country from these lawless fellas that doesn't care about our future, the children of tomorrow's future. Philip Pierre is not a good person. And I'm not putting words in my mouth for him. Because you cannot have a prime minister, a leader of a nation, with a government minister and an ex-police commissioner or whatever he is on a television station insulting and intimidating the citizens of this country who stands up and challenges the injustice of this government. And St. Lucia, I'm telling you, the truth is on the UWP side. That is where the truth lies. You all remember Guy Joseph and how they made you all hate Guy Joseph?
Yep. Now that you've mentioned Guy Joseph Caller, let's examine it. The SLP has said, if this doesn't open the eyes of St. Lucians, nothing will. The SLP administration said so many things about Guy Joseph. So many things about Guy Joseph. They investigated him from top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side. They came up with nothing, not a shred of evidence of any corruption. And yet, people still believe that Guy Joseph is corrupt in some way. But look at it now. Look at it now. Concrete, irrefutable evidence that Richard Frederick was involved in something. Because don't tell me an international task force will spend resources to come to St. Lucia and arrest a government minister, investigate him and all of that without good reason.
And they were one there. I will give you a little scoops. On Monday. That's why I tell them my post. When you see ice pit, you see Monday that passed there? A whole entourage of them from the St. Lucia Police Force was in Matnik. They came down on Express Diesel.
Wow.
And they came to pick them up. Not the Matnik police. The Jadam, the European mongers. I don't know if you have a word like that.
I don't think so. Huh?
Came and collect them. You hear what I'm telling you? They came and collect them, and they were even late. The people was upset because they were the ones that delayed the boat.
Wow.
And before they entered the vehicle, they had to go on entourage. They searched the vehicle again. They looked into it. They make sure everything was clear. They put them in there. They went with them.
Wow.
And my question is, did the Europeans send to call them to put that decree on the minister to have him arrested today? That is my question. And I tell them, I fear none of them. That is why I keep on telling you all, I am not up. They can't label me as a political hack. Just like something, God showed me what he was trying to do. Trying to get everybody to know me, to lower my voice. You know, so that when they deem you as a political hack, people will not listen to you. Right. That is how dirty the politics is in St. Lucia.
Right.
You hear what I'm telling you? And when you say I put out my posts, most of them is from God that He is giving me the things to put out there. And every time I put it, I am always in when I put it, it is spot on. Spot on. And I want my people to understand that God loves you all. He loves you all and He's still fighting for you all. And he's still fighting for the soul of our nation. The bloodshed that have been happening in this country for the past how many years there as Philip Pierre took charge of that country. Philip Joseph Pierre is a failure. He's a wicked individual. And that is why God allowed him. God allowed him to sit there so that he can expose him on that throne. You see, the same way God gave Sir John the title of dying as a prime minister so that he can get his recognition, because if he didn't die there, Labour Party would never recognize Sir John.
Yeah.
That is what that is happening to Philip Pierre. He's a wicked, let me tell you, Philip Pierre is one wicked individual. If you meet people one-on-one, don't worry what he's doing there. He is a wicked individual. And he said he's a mystery, but I always tell him there's a mystery that is bigger than him and that know him. And when that mystery will pin him down, he will ask for mercy and it will be too late for him. Have a good day, Angie.
Thank you so
much. Doing what you're doing. Stay focused, St. Lucia. Stay focused. Stay focused. Your country need you. Your country need you. We are suffering from water crisis. We do not have health care. One of the most important necessities of a country. We do not have it. This Labour Party came in and stopped the progress of your country. They stopped it because they saw what Alan Shasta was about to do. The vision to transform this country of yours, your beloved country that God gave you to live in and sleep in well. To transform it so that you can live better in that trying times that is about to hit us there. St. Lucian, stay focused. You were full. And today you're supposed to be outraged.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be outraged. Tonight we're not even supposed to sleep. You're not supposed to be on the streets already and demanding Philip Pierre to come and give an account of what that is happening there. Demand him to come outside. Make him come outside. Make him come outside and tell you what is happening. There's no time for speculation anymore. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
Have a good day, Angie. Love you, sweetheart.
Thank you so much. Love you too. I have to tell you guys, I am in shock. I'm being honest. I heard the news this morning. I didn't want to say, I didn't think the charges would be so wide and varied. And then somebody said, and then when I tried to confirm, they said, girl, if you know the real story. If you know the real story. But then Jimmy really put it into perspective. My goodness. Somebody says, they call Guy Volle. Well, look who's the thief now. Angie, I can stop. Shas had given the Director of Finance 3 weeks to answer a letter he sent to him and he never replied. Well, yesterday was the 3-week probation. The 3 weeks probation is up. They give Shas enough pluck. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Somebody says, Anson, what is your take on your boss's situation? Wow. Another is saying, we're sending them to take him. Somebody says, don't worry, Minister of Luggage, his turn is coming. Another says, Anson, I hope you are not involved in this minister's corrupt affairs. Another one says, 2026, the year of truth. Somebody says, Karma knows everyone. Every one of us is addressed. Another says, greedy people will not support good for the country. Another says, the next Can I Help You show will be about what? Somebody says, now he has to call out Shasney. Another one says, Alan Shasney's hands is clean. Let me see what's going on here. Wow. I can't even repeat this on the air, but Lord have mercy. Somebody says, tonight's show will be entitled, Can We Bail You? Another one says, I will never be a supporter of the SLP. Yellow will always be my code. This thing is very serious, guys. Another one says, Angie, I want to echo Mr. Jimmy. We should not rejoice over this situation. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie. How are you?
In shock, caller. In absolute shock.
Angie, you know I'm not in shock.
You sometimes you know something is happening, but you hope against hope that it is not as bad as everybody says it is. And then you hear somebody like Jimmy Haynes that is not afraid to put his voice and his name. He called his name, people. That means that he has the information. And he said that he is going to be making these things public. And I'm seeing somebody on the live here who's saying proof is coming because we didn't know any better, so we accepted the money, but proof is coming. And guys, I mean, like Allison said, I love my country. I love my country. I will do anything for my country, but you still want to believe that there is some hope. You still want to believe there is some hope for these ministers, but
Angie, the man was arrested in St. Lucia?
Yes, he was arrested this morning.
I'm trying to get some clarity because I am not shocked.
Yeah.
I am not shocked because there have been things cooking up in the pot since Kenny Anthony's days.
Right. But yes, I think I gleaned that his home was searched, and then he was arrested.
They went to his house?
They went to his home, yes. Yeah.
Okay, may I say that the palace was finally okay. All right. So it was done by not Interpol, but
they said an international law enforcement task force. So that means there were several law enforcement agencies involved. Yeah.
Yes, different agencies involved.
Wow.
Now, when people said this minister was being investigated, what did you hear?
I heard about drugs. I heard about stuff like that, and then I heard that people were saying, "Oh, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true."
Okay.
But I'm starting to believe that every time we hear that's not true, that's when we should believe whatever is being said.
Did we just have a discussion about the ghetto and why the ghettos are still being kept in certain places?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Okay. Did we also say money talks?
And certain things walk all over the place.
Or
like my mother says, money makes the mare fly. That's how my mom puts it.
Yes, money makes the mare fly. That's how I think the British says it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we have not heard, my next question is, and it might sound like a statement, and we have not heard anything from Philip J. Pierre.
Caller, to be quite honest with you, I don't expect the Prime Minister to say much on this. Because every time, or just recently, I recall, a reporter asked the Prime Minister after a very damning show on Can I M'Épuiser You. A reporter asked the Prime Minister about this minister's attitude and what he was going to do and what was his take on the situation and what he was going to do to curb the situation. And the Prime Minister made excuses upon excuses for this minister. Oh, the young man is being vilified. People say the vilest things about him. People say so many things about him. And I try to tell him not to respond in that way, but not everybody is the same. And making excuses, blatant excuses for Richard Frederick's behavior. So this is
Not
why I am
once
telling
have
you,
this man said this man needs to cool out himself.
nothing,
I will speak to the MP so
nothing,
he does not lash out at citizens.
nothing. And
Oh, I just
this,
need to applaud before we continue.
mm-hmm,
A round of applause to the caller before myself.
yeah, that
A
which
round
one
of
that
applause to that caller.
Allison?
And a round of applause to Jimmy Haynes as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I didn't want to say the name, but Jimmy just blew the lid off and he's like, "Why aren't you saying the name? Say the name because it's the truth." So,
So it is
round of applause. Yeah,
confirmed. There
round.
is
It is confirmed.
confirmation that
Yeah,
Richard has been arrested.
I confirmed it before I got here. When I heard the news, I confirmed it
I
through a
am
police
going
source.
to say something that's very. I want to be careful how I say it because I'm alleging this.
Mm-hmm.
The arrest of Maduro,
Mm-hmm.
Maduro's colleagues by the United States of America
Mm-hmm.
was not for nothing, you know.
I think so too.
This is going to open cans of worms in St. Lucia. And when I say cans of worms,
Mm-hmm.
I mean cans of worms.
According to the Minister of Agriculture, cans of worms and snakes.
Well, the snakes are already open. The cans of snakes are already open. They're all over the place.
Father in heaven, give me
Jesus.
strength.
You know what? God knows exactly what he's doing.
Yes, he does.
God knows exactly why. God knows exactly why this happened. God knows exactly why an early election was called. A lot of people are overlooking a few things. We are in July.
Mm-hmm.
An election was due in July,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yes.
When we count 5 years.
Yep.
It is 5 years since, or going to be July the 6th was the last, the election, right?
No, I think it was July
26. 26, sorry.
Yeah.
July the 26th, correct?
Yes.
God knows why we had an early election. Let me just repeat that. Because you see, when we as civilians believe that our government receives no intel on what is going on behind the scenes, we are fooling ourselves.
Yeah.
And I repeat that.
Caller, let me tell you something. I have always said to you guys, you need to listen carefully to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister lets the cat out of the bag. All we have to do is listen carefully to what he says. And when I play what he says on the show, people get mad. People tell me, Angie, I am tuning out. I am muting. I'm not listening to this man. But you must listen because that is how you are going to learn. That's the only way you're going to learn.
Barabbas. Brutus Barabbas. This I'm not saying this just to say this. This is something that St. Lucians, every one of you saw this coming. But you know what you did? Non, ça paraît fait, ça paraît jamais fait. Let us just again tell St. Lucians, the law governing criminality, the law governing money laundering, terrorism, anti-money laundering, anti-terrorism, the act, the law is not a St. Lucian one.
That's right.
It is a global one. And some of us did say it will take 20 years, or it does take 20 years, 30 years, but people will go down.
Don't say it like that, caller. Say justice will be served, because that's what we need. We don't need, listen, we don't need people to go down. What we need is justice.
Now you know why I said it. I said it like the Thursday night host, because that's what the Thursday night host says. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Justice must be served. Thank you for correcting me, Angie.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I heard Guy Volley. I heard, boy, they're coming for Guy. Guy will be arrested.
I even heard people saying that Alan Shastney stole the country's money.
Shastney Volley. Guy Volley, tell mom. Guy can't travel. Guy can't go nowhere. Remember, imagine who was on a show with a t-shirt saying a volley airways.
Vol Air.
What was the air?
Vol Air.
Vol Air. Vol Air with a plane. Vol Air with a plane. My question is, has that person been put on Vol Air? Has this individual been put on Vol Air?
I don't even know who that individual is, caller.
And flown out. Do we know? Do we know anything? Has a Prime Minister of St. Lucia? Are we going to have a by-election in Central Castries?
I would think.
And this is not alleged. You're saying this is not alleged. This is true?
Caller, it has been confirmed. I confirmed it personally that the minister is currently sitting in a detention facility. Not at custody suite, so if you go there, you'll not see him. But at another one. I confirmed it myself before I even got here this morning. In fact, that's why I was late. I couldn't even do the news because I had to get this confirmed.
Justice will be sweeping through St. Lucia in a few moments, in a few days. I'm telling you all, justice will be sweeping through St. Lucia. There is a young lady who called before me. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. I heard your name being slandered. I heard it.
Yeah.
Left, right, and center. I heard things about you I didn't know. Good job.
Well, caller, thank you so much. Let me give you.
Before we leave, they're quiet as mice, but we call.
Say that again.
We're calling on Philip J. Pierre to address the nation with reference to this arrest, and we're also calling on Philip J. Pierre as to whether or not we should expect a by-election in Central Castries. Thank you, darling. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Guys, over to the Facebook platform. Somebody says, Angie, I want to echo Mr. Jimmy. We should not rejoice over this situation. Let us not gloat, lest we get distracted. Let us focus on dismantling the wrongs being done to us and to our country. I remember there is this African preacher or prophet who was prophesying on the situation in St. Lucia. A minister of the SLP was quick to post the part which the prophet said that the SLP would win the elections and that he will deliver, however, the part where he said that there will be many reports of corruption and PJP has surrounded himself with the wrong people. Somebody says by-election, by-election, by-election. Another one says Valerie. Somebody says time to take the street. Somebody says a powerful lady. Another one says the minute I read Michael Flood's post on FB this morning, I knew something big was happening. Another says, people, are we all heading to the police station to listen to Can I Help You? Somebody says St. Lucians need to apologize to Mr. Allen. Another says this development is bigger than St. Lucia, and I agree with that. Another says here, People take the streets, no looting, no violence, just peaceful protest demanding answers from PJP, followed by a resignation of the minister in question. I think when a sitting minister is arrested by the police and detained, I think that is an immediate resignation, don't you? Somebody says God's timing is always on point. Another says say Leba or Rara. Okay. Another says Leba, y'all still 16-1. Don't deny him now. We don't want to hear 15-2 now. Somebody says straight up. Another says caller, they drank the red gogo juice. Another says names will be called. Somebody says the PM was in the house giving the banks talks, knowing well certain people's accounts were closed. Tell me he was unaware. I don't know. Somebody says Rush Clark, prepare. Somebody says I hope Evole goes down too. Who is? Oh, I just got it. Somebody says, did I hear you say it was international police who carried out the arrest? Yes, the arrest was carried out by an international task force. That's what we're hearing from a post on Kenneth Rejock's blog, but I confirmed personally that the minister was arrested and detained at a local detention facility, and that he was there with his lawyers, that his home had been searched, and allegedly evidence had been collected. So this is not a drill, guys. This is not a drill. St. Lucia, I predict for two things I want to say. First, I predict that there will be more developments concerning this very soon. I honestly don't think Richard Frederick is one to shield or cushion anyone when his butt is in the hot seat. So expect names to be called. And two, I predict the Prime Minister is going to wash his hands clean of Richard Frederick. He said before, Richard Frederick has only ever been a member of the UWP, and that Richard Frederick is a grown man, meaning he is responsible for his own actions. So I believe, let me tell you why. This is a time to be concerned. This is a time, like Alison said, where we shouldn't even be sleeping at night. Because this incident has very, very serious implications for our international image. Very, very serious implications. I want to remind you all of the fact that St. Lucia is but a very small island, a dot on the map. A tiny dot on the map that depends largely on grant funding, loans, and tourism, and even the CIP to survive. This is not cause for rejoicing. This is not cause for us to think that people are going down. We must call for justice to be served. Justice, that's what we want. Don't lose sight of that fact. This is not cause for celebration. This is cause for apprehension. Because let me tell you something. When the international community turns their eye onto a small island, especially under these circumstances, that spells trouble with a capital T. This is a very sobering moment in St. Lucian history. For it to be known that St. Lucia, this island, is a harborer of political corruption? Do you realize that this is bad for our economy, for our country, and for our survival? Venezuela was a den of corruption, political corruption. So much so that after the last election, when Nicolas Maduro lost the election, he refused to agree to step down. And Donald Trump swept in and bombed the Jesus out of Venezuela. You think St. Lucia can sustain that? And before you see that, well, Nicolas Maduro was a different case. St. Lucia we've not had any of the things that are happening in Venezuela. Think again. Some of y'all, I know y'all will come and say that, well, Richard Frederick, no. Y'all will say, well, St. Lucia doesn't have oil. Donald Trump only bombed Venezuela for oil. Think again. And sit down with a pen and paper and examine what's been happening in our country for the past couple of weeks and months and years. Criminals have been allowed free rein to terrorize our streets and kill our people. Our ports and our borders have been thrown wide open for all sorts of illicit and illegal drugs to come through. You have a caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Hi, Angie. Sorry to call you back. I just wanted to correct the previous caller.
Yeah.
And the person in the live chat who's calling for a by-election, or assumes that if the minister has to resign or is being dismissed from the cabinet of ministers, that would trigger a by-election. That is not the case.
Okay.
First, Richard Frederick serves first as the parliamentary representative for Central Castries. He was elected into office by the people of Central Castries. That is not related to his ministerial position. His ministerial position, he was appointed by the Prime Minister, and he serves at the whim of the Prime Minister.
Right.
So the women fancy the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister wants to appoint him and fire him tomorrow, he can do so.
Right.
And then reappoint him, he can do so. However, in the case of a by-election, it is for Mr. Richard Frederick to be removed from office, i.e., he either voluntarily resigns, as Sarah Flood did in Central Castries, and that triggers a by-election, or that the people of Castries agitate to a certain degree, which forces him to resign. Otherwise, a by-election will not...
I have a question, though, pertaining to what you just said. Isn't it true that according to our constitution, if a minister is convicted of a crime that carries a jail sentence, that he automatically is disqualified from being a minister?
Now, there's a difference. Again, you're saying minister, a minister is not involved in elections.
Right, I'm sorry, I said minister, I mean MP.
You mean parliamentary representative?
Right, a representative.
Member of the House.
Yes.
Right. Yes, that is because you have to qualify. You must have no criminal record.
Right.
Right. So yes, in that regard. But this sort of automatic thing where they are calling on the Prime Minister to call a by-election, the Prime Minister can't do that.
Okay.
In the case, because Richard Frederick, one, is an independent, and even if he was a Labour Party candidate, a member of the Labour Party, even if they expelled him as a member of the Labour Party, they could not force him to resign. In the case of Sarah Flood, she resigned, she left the Labour Party, formed another party, ran the seat between her, Richard Frederick, and the former Attorney General or Minister of Justice. There's a kind of a French sounding name. I can't remember his name.
Right.
He ran the sequence. But anyway, but in this situation, that is not. And I'm not asking, and I'm advising UWPs that be realistic about your expectations so that you may not be disappointed.
Yeah.
What we want is accountability. Accountability for our money
Mm-hmm.
and correction in place. And the rest, the political side of things, will fall in place
Yeah.
because the people will see what we have as a government. And anyway, that's the only reason I called, just to try and correct it so that we don't go further with this misconception.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. Thank you. Well, guys, there you have it. There you have it. But as I was saying, this is not a time to gloat because our international reputation is at stake. And I fear that it might be irreparably damaged by this thing. As much as the sensationalism is exciting, but what we need at this time is justice. We have another caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon again, Angie. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I just want to echo your sentiments with regards to the gluten because I just got wind that this has not just made international press,
Mm-hmm.
it has made regional press. Somebody told me that it will soon be reported in one of the Jamaica Trinidad newspapers,
My
this
God.
whole detention of Richard Frederick. So apart from the international repercussions based on those alleged damning allegations, it also carries regional consequences because let us be mindful that we St. Lucia also is dependent on our CARICOM neighbors for
Right.
trade and
Right.
for commerce. You know, they have their businesses in St. Lucia presently that trade within the region, and so it has implications for our image as a CARICOM member state.
Yeah.
So it's a sad day for St. Lucia. I mean, there are lessons to be learned by both sides on the political fence. For the government of the Labour Party, there are serious lessons that must be learned in terms of when people elect you, you have to take their vote seriously. When people put you into office, when the people of St. Lucia vote for you, they vote for you not to enrich yourself, but to develop their well-being, to ensure that you represent them with integrity and honesty. That's what
Yeah.
St. Lucians are clamoring for. That's what St. Lucia needs right now. Honest politicians will not get into office to enrich themselves or their friends or their family. And I'm saying we know we have had acts of corruption, alleged acts of corruption, and before we had instances where there was the Bloom Cooper report. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bloom Cooper
No. No,
report
I'm not.
with the UN scandal, and there's a long history that we ought to unpack. And one of these days, I would go dig into the archives and give a little take because a lot of us do not know our history, and if we fail to know our history, we are liable to repeat the mistakes of our past. And so
Yeah.
I remember there was a Group Cooper report, and in that report, Cooper was a investigator. He was hired by to do an inquiry by, I think it was the Kenyan administration, and he submitted a report and he said every single sector in St. Lucia is corrupt from top to bottom.
My God.
So I will endeavor now. So it should be online. That blue is a public document because our taxpayer money dollars paid for that report, and that in that Gloom Cooper report, it was very instructive. But yet, still, as a country, it seems to me that we did not learn anything from that, and so I will endeavor to do some more research and to get that report. And it will be worthwhile so that we can read it to the listeners because it's factual. It was, I mean, it's public information. It's not anything that we're making up. And that there are lessons that we ought to learn as a country, as a people. And so It's a sad day for St. Lucia based on those damning allegations that we're hearing. And that, like I said earlier, there's serious repercussions and consequences for our tourism product. As you know, we only standing on one leg when it comes to our economy. We are heavily reliant on dependent on tourism, and already our tourism figures are not looking good. And so people, when visitors visit your country, when they want to vacation, they take into consideration a number of things. National security, the safety, the image of the country, all these factors, political stability, they take into consideration before they decide to visit your country. And if it's online, if it's out there on the international scene, originally that our country, our country is festive with corruption, that there are consequences for that. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you so much for that, caller. Yep, time for reflection, guys. Time for reflection and a call for justice. I personally, my take on this, I call on the Minister for National Security and the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister all in one to give us an indication of what is going on if these damning allegations, extremely damning allegations about the misappropriation of public funds is correct. We need to hear from the minister. He is, as we know, the minister for the SSDF, so he needs to account and he needs to ensure that people like the director of finance, they find their voice and they account as well. We have a message here. Somebody says, in SLU, it's noticeable that the National Security Minister and the Crime Prevention Minister tend to address crime only when their term is about to expire. Unfortunately, they lack a clear plan to effectively combat crime, opting for last-minute measures instead. Let's hope they change that modus operandi. Somebody says, people take the streets, no looting, no violence, just peaceful protest demanding answers from PJP, followed by a resignation of the minister in question. Somebody says, yes, caller, you're hot. You hit the nail on the head. God's timing is always on point. Somebody says the PM was in the house giving the banks talk, knowing well certain people's accounts were closed. Tell me he was unaware. Somebody says, did I hear you say, oh, we read that already. Richard Frederick got played. The fall guy just took the fall. Evole is the most dangerous of them all. Somebody says, do you remember the accusations leveled at Mr. Guy with the little girl at the community event? And who was mad and came out with this? Karma, know everyone's address when they falsely accuse another. A lot of names will be called. Somebody says, don't be surprised. 3 other ministers will be arrested. Don't be surprised. Because Richard Frederick will not go down alone. Somebody says, the UK will not allow Trump, but will come in themselves. Somebody says, a question. If he was arrested by international police, was the Prime Minister informed that an arrest is going to take place today? We don't know that. And we want to know from the Prime Minister. Somebody says, it was past time to see actions on all the negative things going on in St. Lucia. We all have to pay for our criminal actions. Another says, I would like to know if it's true that he was arrested. And yes, it is true. Richard Frederick, the Minister of Housing, has been arrested and is currently detained at a detention facility in the country. It's said that he was arrested by an international task force, and we are awaiting further confirmation on the charges that will be proffered. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Thank you to all of my listeners, all of my callers, and all of the people on the live for your comments and your interaction. Like I said, this is not a time for gloating. This is a time for reflection. I sincerely hope, St. Lucia, that this be taken as a lesson in future so that we are more discerning as to the people we allow to sit in the House of Parliament. Because some of us refuse to treat the elections like a job interview, to treat the campaign like a job interview. I hope this incident teaches St. Lucians to take stock, careful stock, of the background and character of the individuals who they go to the ballot box and place an X near their names. I hope this is the takeaway from this situation. And let us keep our eyes on this. Let us not get distracted, because this is a time not for celebration or gloating, but for apprehension, because this is damaging to our international image, and I doubt St. Lucia can take any more. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Be safe. Be prepared. Keep your eyes on the prize. Bye-bye.